to kind of get things going. Suzanne, I'm picking on you. Karen, no, maybe question. They're both like, never should have turned my camera on. He's picking on me. Okay, what about you? Kelly, Beverly, William, questions? I can't tell. Okay, there we go, Kelly. See, it just takes one brave one. That's all we were looking for.
I'm curious about how much approximately this costs and how much help you give us. I mean, do you hold our hands? What's the deal?
Okay. Can talk about that broadly and specifically, I suppose. In terms of the help, like it really, what we do, and I sort of alluded to it in the pre-recorded video, but what we do is like, yes, we provide you with the website. Yes, it's the best website for selling art that exists, and that's all well and good. But no one really has a website problem. Everyone has a marketing and business problem. And so the easiest way to think about what we do is it's two buckets. One bucket is the website. The other bucket is, I call it the art business university, call it a postgraduate university for art photography and business marketing, call it the giant support umbrella. It's a combination of like all of the things that you need. In one, there's the DIY, read at your own pace. Here's how to do everything education, audio, video, all of the above. Then we put you in classes, sort of exactly like this, Zoom with peers, where we teach whatever the thing is. After we're done teaching the thing, we go right into Q&A just like now. And so if you're stuck on something, there's that. We have a private Facebook group where all our members interact, help one another. We chime in on that. We have tech support of every stripe imaginable, phone calls, tickets, Zoom sessions, pre-recorded videos that are sent to you. And then I think probably like the most understated and important aspect of it is there's a lot of encouragement and carrot and stick and accountability all rolled into one. And believe it or not, I honestly think that makes the biggest impact. And you're encouraged to keep going. You're encouraged when you're at your very lowest point, because being an artist, you're a solopreneur. You don't have a big team. It's hard, right? You need constant encouragement along the way. And what we found, which is really interesting, is that like when you're going through that journey with a cohort of your peers, it's really, really helpful, because the times when you're just down, stuck in the mud, and things are not going the way that you want, you don't feel like you're getting the sales results, somebody else will be like, yeah, that was me 3 months ago. And here's what I did. Stay at it. Don't worry. Keep going. The biggest problem fundamentally that artists and photographers have, and then I'll get into the pricing, is they all treat their business and marketing aspects of the business, I guess I would say, like New Year's resolutions. And the gym membership is the most easiest example, right? You sign up for that gym membership January 1 and you're going 4 days a week. This is awesome. And then by the time March comes around, you've been once, right? And then the thing falls off. If you don't have like the support structure, which is no joke, a combination of your peers, a combination of encouragement, carrot, stick, the group, constant sessions, you just end up giving up, because no one's ever taught you guys the perspective of how long it takes to build an art business, and sort of what the journey looks like, and what normal sales look like in the first year and in the second year and in the third year. And so the hand holding all along the way is massive and significant and never ending. I mean, I think we had 8 different video sessions this week, depending on where you are, in your journey. If you're just getting started, some of them were onboarding. Some of the other ones were one-off topic specifics. We have normal office hours every Tuesday, Thursday. And it really is like, as we continue to grow and iterate as a business, it really feels like a college experience. I mean, that's sort of what it is. There's classes, there's homework, there's stuff that you do on your own, there's stuff you do in small groups. Then you have the groups to hang out with. And I don't know any other way you could do it, to be honest with you. Because 1, selling art and photography is hard. 2, it's a long journey. 3, you need help. 4, the doggone digital technology changes so damn fast. I mean, you saw me rant and raving about the live art shows earlier. Like, those weren't even a thing pre-COVID at all. Now they're like one of the dominant ways to sell. And so you need all of that, right? And so we started out, to get to your pricing thing, we started out as a business just doing the websites. And we thought that would be great. And we'd have like this awesome business. Okay, we're going to do websites. And then we realized none of you guys have a website problem. None of you do. You guys have all tried every website under the sun. What has it done for you? Absolutely nothing. And it's not because a lack of trying or you picked the wrong website per se. It's that you don't have a website problem. You have a business and marketing problem. And until we fix that, we're not going to get anywhere. So in terms of what we charge a normal monthly fee for the website, and then we charge a one-time fee that goes to pay for all the education that you'll be getting for the rest of your art selling life. And the one-time fee is $1,000 or $999, however they price it like that. And then the monthly fee on the website, it depends on which package you get, but it's either $39, $49, or $59 or something like that. And we always get people to say like, okay, well that sounds really expensive. You're way more expensive than the competitors. And really the reason is that we're not offering a website. We're trying to create successful art and photography businesses, and this is what it takes to do it. This is what it takes to do it and keep going and keep growing and growing year after year after year after year, and that's it. And that's it.
Thank you.
It's kind of a long-winded answer, but I appreciate you being brave with the first hand raise of the day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guy. Who else, guys? Questions? Oh, sorry. Someone put in the chat, Everett. I'm going to find you, Everett. I'm getting you right now. Don't worry. All right. Go ahead, Everett. I got you. You can unmute. It's the mic.
Hey, how you doing, Patrick?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thanks for hosting this and been doing it as long as you have. I got some real great insight so far.
Oh, awesome. What have you put into practice, though?
So you're right. I have been pushing my art the best way I know. There's a piece right there behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
However, one of the things that actually is funny, because I've been on some of these chat rooms, video chats like Bigo and Clubhouse, and while I'm painting, right, and I'm just on there talking to people, and everybody's like, you need to be a host because everybody's gonna. And so basically, I've heard indirectly everything you're saying, but I haven't put it into practice yet. But I'm doing it this week.
Good for you.
So I'm gonna become a host on those things, start showing the process, and then my other pieces around. And so I'm definitely gonna do that. But my question for you,
okay,
another new thing, but I've seen it with animated little figures and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts when it comes down to like the visual art, like my paintings? I do acrylic and things like that. On this emerging NFT market.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Do you think that that's something viable for an artist that's like a truly a visual painter, something to really put their time into, or is it more like, let's focus on the pyramid that you've already instructed us on, and leave that NFT thing to these other people that are doing like these little cartoon characters and things like that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So backstory, when he says NFT, he's talking about non-fungible tokens, which is a fancy way of saying a smart contract encoded in cryptography that says this, that, and the other. And it's like kind of the buzzword, the topic du jour. The good news is the CEO and I both crypto freaks. I mean, I bought my first Bitcoin when it was priced at $6. That's how long I've been messing around crypto. I obviously did not keep enough of those, or I would not be on this webinar right now. So I've learned plenty of lessons along the way. The NFT space is really, really interesting. We're mega fascinated by it. We're studying it and trying to understand where it's going to go, how it's going to evolve, what the best use case is, the best use cases for artists. But if I asked Everett how many people on this chat right now out of the 28 own crypto, own Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of the other altcoins, I'd be curious to see how many hands went up. After no hands went up, I would then ask if any of them have a MetaMask wallet or know how to connect a MetaMask wallet. You are talking about some extremely difficult things to do, okay? And I'm a tech nerd, right? So what's awesome about the NFT market is it's not a zero-sum game with the normal art market, meaning an NFT buyer is not usually one that would have been a regular art buyer. They are sort of made up about like the crypto guys, and many of them have way too much money right now because so much crypto's gone up so incredibly, and they love the ethos and they love supporting the ecosystem, and so they're buying that art, right? But fundamentally underlying it, why I hate it, okay, is because everyone reads a story, and there's this one particular artist, you guys, named Beeple, Beeple, and he's a sketch artist, and he made $96 million in 1 year. In 1 week, selling NFTs. And everyone hears that story, okay? And if that story's been published 100 times, 97 out of 100, the story's not complete, Okay. And do you want to know why it's not complete? Because Beeple did a little project called 5,000. He did a unique one-off piece of art 5,000 days in a row. It's 13.3 years for those that are curious. Every day that dude grinding, releasing, grinding, releasing. And he already had the support of the community. And I bring that up to say is that the premise of NFTs to most people, when they hear about this, is like gold rush. If I just get there, it's going to solve all my problems, right? When they're not solving the real problem. You still have to market and make a name for yourself. If you're just going to throw your NFT up there, it's no different than going on to Fine Art America and throwing your thing up there, going on to Etsy and throwing your thing up there. There is no easy way to run this business and do it aside from grinding on the marketing and doing the business stuff. And all artists have done for generations now is one shortcut to another shortcut to this marketplace. I heard this is interesting. I'm going to do my own website. Now I'm going to go over to this website. And they've never fixed the real problem. And NFTs is not going to fix it for them either. So is there a play for it for you? Yeah, there's a ton of plays. I think more interesting than animated art, not animated art, is you minting 10 NFTs, you pricing them, ladder pricing them, and you call them your collector coins. And it's a way to support you as an artist. And the collector coin, inside the collector coin NFT is a smart contract that says this individual is granted first right of refusal number 1, first right of refusal number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And those collector coins can be traded at any point in time, and you get a cut each time they're created. And every new creation you come out with, number 1 gets to see it first, number 2 gets to see it second, number 3 gets to see it, and it goes that way, right? And so there's a use case for NFTs that absolutely no one's talking about that 100% applies to artists like you guys, right?
Collector coins.
Yeah.
Okay, because I set up my wallet. I do own some Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
I already put up a couple of NFTs on Rarible, and I'm just
what blockchain does Rarible use? Is that Tezos or is that Ethereum?
That I'm using, it's an Ethereum coin, but it's, let me see, what is it called? It has like the logo for my wallet has like a fox.
Yeah. That's the MetaMask wallet. Okay, don't worry about it because everyone else is looking at us and going are these guys talking Mandarin right now? Because I do not understand what they're saying. Yeah.
So I'm literally just getting started on it, and so I'm focused on number 1, the attention. I'm building up my following across the board and getting emails and all that kind of good stuff. But it's just one of those things where it's like, should I push more time into it? And what your thought was on
put margin time and consider it a hobby. 5 to 7% of your total art time, no more. You got to fix the fundamentals first.
Got it. Done. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, and I'll be on the next call.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Evan. I'm really bullish though. I can't wait to see where the NFTs go. You know, it's funny because I had a young kid that was on this week. It embarrasses me to be able to say young kid, but like I'm in my 40s now, so I can say young kid. Get off my lawn. And he's like, you know, this generation, the kid was maybe like 22. He's like, why do I even need to have a Facebook page? Like, what's the point on Facebook? Is Facebook even cool anymore? Like, no one's on it. No one of my generation is on it. And I was like, see, I'm old and wise now, dude. You need to have a Facebook page. Okay. Is it as important as Instagram? No, it's not. But it's massively important because I think eventually these goofy looking things are going to take hold. Okay. They're going to take hold, and who's going to win in that battle? Facebook is. And the artists that were cooking their Facebook pages the entire time will be able to move their entire art world in there. And it'll end up kicking butt. But yeah, we're gonna be cooking on NFT features all year long, Everett, until we figure out which one's best for us. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see where it all goes. The goalposts in this thing just move too quickly. But who else? Questions? Beverly, you have a question. I know you do. Walter, was that a hand raise? I can't tell. Walter's like, no, don't pick me. Walter's in a conversation. Okay, good. Beverly, I appreciate that. You gotcha.
Yeah, is there anybody that ever sponsors anybody to get onto the platform?
Not really. I mean, I think a couple people have done grants, I think. Certainly some people have been sponsored by their parents. I don't know if you call that a sponsorship, but that's definitely happened. But not that I'm aware of. I would have to ask the outreach team. I'm not 100% on that, but not usually. Like, you know, you got to work on selling as much of that product as possible, and then believing in yourself, and then you make the leap, right?
Well, here's a hiccup. I mean, I just got served my three-day notice, so I've got some really big pieces I need to get. I think I can get unloaded for some, a decent chunk of change. I'm not sure because I
Mhm.
haven't sold anything.
Yeah.
And I can't really take it on my bike.
No, you're definitely not going to be able to take it on your bike. That is for sure.
No, but I've got smaller pieces too. So I came up with this idea because I need to come up with some cash like yesterday. So I don't know if you can stay after and brainstorm with me a little bit and help me
Oh
out.
no, I can do it. I can do it right now. Got to get a
Okay,
job.
so
You got to get a job, Beverly.
I came up
You got to
with
get a
this
job,
idea.
Beverly. You got to get a job. You got to get a job. You can't rely on art sales when you've never sold anything right out of the gate. You have to get a job, straight up.
Well, I need to make enough money to get back into real estate. So
Got to get a job. I say that even to like, I say that even to my customers that have like been at it for 2 years and they have a full-time job and the art business is starting to cook. Like maybe they're like 50 or 60 grand a year. I'm like, do not quit that day job. Do not quit that day job, because then you can just give yourself a couple more years of investing back in your business. And then when you leave, you can leave to, like 100 or 110 or 120, $130,000 a year job. But the best you can do in the short term, Beverly, is have a live art show with this. I'm going to send you a link how to do it. Okay. All right. That's what you got to do. I'm sorry for the tough love on the job thing, but trust me, you have to. Otherwise, it's just trying to spin up an art business overnight to get it to pay all of your bills is really, really hard to do. And, I would rather not have you waste your time on that and jump right into something that can provide immediate income for your situation. So I would say, yeah. Tough love sometimes. Sorry about that. Who else, guys? Questions? Karen, Tristan, Walter. There we go. Thanks, Greg. I see you. Gotcha, Greg.
Okay. My question is, how important is TikTok?
Ooh, it's a great question. The good news is that I'm not streaming on TikTok right now. I don't trust TikTok any further than I can throw it. I would say this at a high level because I'm a huge technology nerd. I believe it's owned by the communist aspects of the government in China, and every single solitary time, the hackers here in the U.S. break down that application is sending all sorts of data back to the servers that like a normal application wouldn't. So like the most advanced tracking app you've ever seen. That infuriates me. I think they were almost close to being shut down during the Trump administration. For whatever reason, they didn't get it over the line, and that infuriates me. So I balance that with having to be contrarian. Like if we're fishermen, we have to go where the fish are. So the audience on TikTok still skews younger, right? So you have to understand that, although that is changing on a day-by-day basis. I mean, I literally was at my mechanic yesterday picking up my car, and he's 42 years old, and he's like, I'm only on TikTok, right? So you hear stories like that, and it's beginning to change. They also lie, cheat, and steal across the board. You can tell how I feel about them personally, in massively inflating video view counts and likes and comments and shares as a way to give you dopamine hits and keep you on the platform. But the reality is that they're winning right now, and the attention is there, and so it does make sense to doing it. But I would say, if you isolate trying to go after fine art buyers, Instagram is still by far the most important. And then secondarily, Facebook is, but Instagram is far more important than TikTok still.
Okay, thank you for answering that. I have one other quick question. What if you had to determine what you feel is the sort of flavor of the day in the art world, as far as, the sort of vein of genre of art that people are buying most? Because I have a bunch of artist friends, and they're all large abstract stuff. That's what you want to be doing. I'm like, well,
yeah. This is the one that's so dangerous when this advice comes in. So dangerous.
Well, large work is a pain in the ass, first of all. And when I do it on something I can roll up. I refuse to stretch a bunch of canvases and have a stockpile sitting in my garage.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, large work is tough because when it doesn't sell and you have to store it, I hate that. But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't even let you answer my question.
No, it's okay. That's okay. I would say I would answer that question a couple of different ways. One, it's a crystal ball question, right? It's like my mom going to her financial advisor and saying, am I going to have enough money when I'm 90? And him saying like, well, I hope so. It depends on how much you spend. Depends on how the market does. It's a crystal ball question. variations that often get asked, and there was one asked earlier by Brianna, how long does it typically take a brand new photographer to sell $5,000? And what's fundamentally flawed with all of those questions, what's the best-selling media types? What's the right sizes? What's the hottest subject material? How many hours a week do I need to spend on marketing? What's the typical earn back period? Is the premise to all those questions is that there's some sort of mathematical formula that you can just take and put into your business, and you'll get the same results as others will. And I have literally spent years analyzing our customers' data trying to find it for myself, because my mind goes to the exact same place, and it just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in the art and photography world. It is such a mixed bag of individuals and levels of creativity and subject matter material and how they go about it and what advantages they have to where they are. The example I always give is like, we have an individual that has 1.3 million followers on Instagram, is a household name in certain circles. And then we have the gal that is 5,200 followers on Instagram, and they both have similar size email list. She outsells him 75 to 1. How the hell am I supposed to explain that, right? All my analytical brain wants to do is like, total sales divided by total social followers divided by total on the email list, revenue, and come up with an equation. But it is such a mixed bag. It's just insane. There's no rhyme or reason. That's one answer.
Does that go for the demographics of the buyers as well?
Nah, less the demographic of the buyers and more like subject material driven. One thing I would say, though, the second way I would answer the question is there's no magical formula. No magical formula for anyone. Anyone that tells you that and tries to sell you something, run and hide, because they're full of it. Number two, what everyone tends to do is, as artists, as photographers, is they say, you know what, I just want to create what inspires me, right? And what I really like. And then they try to go and sell it, and inevitably they're not met with the results that they like, and they either take it as a self-criticism, I'm not good enough, or they blame it on the art market, no one's buying art, this marketing doesn't work, and no one tells them, and this is the same line I use on all these sessions, that when Pablo Picasso died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. 45,000. You know what that guy did? He realized that making art is no different than archery. If you want to get good at archery and hit the bullseye a bunch, you better be firing thousands and thousands and thousands of arrows, right? And that's what he did. And some of those arrows went completely over the target into the neighbor's yard. And instead of quitting, he's like, okay, that's not working. Let me try something else, right? I would also say that very few people ever invert the equation that I just mentioned, which is, I'm going to create what I love, what inspires me, and then I'm going to go take it to market and try to sell it, right? Well, if we and hopefully see that there's a huge demand there and have a great business, right? What happens when you invert it? Instead of I'm going to go create, I'm going to go try and sell, see how I do. What if you said, I'm going to go find a diehard market and create something for them, right? An example I could use is Green Bay Packers fans buy their body weight in Green Bay Packer related swag on a yearly basis. Okay. That is a diehard lunatic bunch. So I'm going to go and create Green Bay Packer inspired art or photography, however I would do that, and then have a ready go market to sell into, right? When you start thinking like that, it becomes very, very interesting. It just does. Because then you start realizing, like, start with demand and work backwards instead of create something and then find demand. That's just a good mental model to have, period. And as a final, I would say, so I came into this job like ton of marketing, ton of entrepreneurial business experience. What I lacked was, it's not entirely true. I had some art experience, but what I lacked was like years and years and years of seeing what transpires in this industry and how it goes down. Fundamentally, some of my most successful customers just have baked into their DNA constantly trying and testing new subject matter materials. They just do it automatically. It's just a part of what they do. And I think Picasso did it too with that 45,000, right? But the idea is that you're always looking to level up your business, and subject matter material is one of the greatest ways to do it. And like the way that I envision it as an advertiser, is a marketing guy, is like, I write ad A, I write ad B, I run them at the same time until one wins. I drop the loser, I write another one and put it up. And the idea is that I just want to keep getting better and better and better and finding another winner, right? And we have so many examples of people that came onto the platform and started started with whatever they had, and then, you know, they feel like they hit a ceiling at like 20 or 25,000 or $30,000 a year, and they're like, I just keep grinding, but I can't get anywhere. And then they start trying the new subject material, and something else hits, and all of a sudden it unlocks like multiple new levels. So I think if you can focus on contemplating demand and working backwards, right? Testing stuff all the time and giving yourself permission to fail. It doesn't mean you're a crappy artist. It doesn't mean you don't have the skills. It just means you picked the wrong subject matter material. And you stay at that consistently, you will win, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And even better, you can have these other new things on your site. Like, think of my ad example. Like, you have something that's sort of working, but it's not working as well as you want it to. Okay, well, that's your ad A. Now go work on ad B and see which one wins. If B loses, drop it, write another one, put up C, right? I mean, I have so many examples of customers that have done that, just incredible.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I think, yeah, everyone that I know that's doing well is just huge volumes of work happening and shifting directions, and just as you said, shifting into the wind at your back.
Yes.
And just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for answering my question. I didn't really get in on the very top of the thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, maybe you can reiterate the name of your company and you know, a little bit about how we stay in contact.
Yeah. Wait, are you kidding me? Are you not on the email list already? You have to be. You got an email.
I did get an email. I don't know how I got it though.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you're Art Storefronts.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I've been talking to Russell.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, you're not getting email from us? We send more email than any company I know of on the planet. I mean, we are abusers of the email system to the highest order.
I didn't realize you guys were the same guys. But okay. Yeah, no, I already have a scheduled Zoom meeting with Russell next week. I'm totally on board. I'm gonna definitely pull the trigger on all this. This is the stuff that kills the art time, the time on the canvas.
Yeah, it does.
All the stuff that you guys are gonna do for me is all the stuff I don't want to do A, I don't like to do B, and it pulls time and distracts from the end of work.
100%, all of it, and you're not alone. That's every single solitary person on this call, and they're in the exact same boat as you.
It just gets old. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Great questions too. Okay. Who else? Questions, guys? On a Friday? Anything's in bounds? Tamara's saying she used to sell at arts fairs, average $200 a weekend. You'd probably there's not all art fairs are the same, Tamara. You need to go into them with like a very definitive playbook, which is probably not one that you are running. Most people don't know about this, but when you go to an art fair, okay, in a show, and you pay for the booth and you do the whole thing. Number one, you have to have all the stuff in the booth and you set it up. Okay, great. Number two, you have to have a stool with either a clipboard or on your table a clipboard with some balloons if they'll let you have it, and a print that you're going to give away, okay, by entering their contact information into the thing. And what you'll find when you do that is you get all sorts of people that are walking by, they're busy, they'll either throw a business card in the fishbowl. No one really has business cards anymore, so that's sort of going away. But they'll fill out the clipboard and they'll put their email address on it. After the show is over, you're going to have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 150 emails. You announce a winner, and then to everybody else you say, I'm so sorry, we can only have one winner. I don't ever win anything either. Is a way for me of saying thanks for entering, take 20% off, 15% off store-wide for the next 48 hours. And what ends up happening in those situations is you generate sales after the show. Then also, you need to be leveraging QR codes. And, you know, I know QR codes are sort of new, but when COVID hit, we all sort of figured out what QR codes were, right? You need to be leveraging QR codes in the booth so that people can just walk by, scan it, and then get on your email list. And then you also, once you get a little bit more comfortable, because you set up this beautiful booth with all your art, you grab the cell phone and you run a live art show in the booth. Hey, guys, for everyone that's around town, I'm at the such and such festival on Lake Street. Come on down. If you can't, though, I wanted you to be able to participate in all these incredible deals. And then you show off all the work in the booth. You let people know what you're charging for it, and you see if you can get some sales that way. If you do that, okay, and you're marketing consistently all year long, which, trust me, I know no one is, and you realize that the art show, craft fair, whatever you want to call it, in-person event game only works when you're doing like minimum 5 a year, and ideally like 10 to 15. Because what ends up happening is some are duds, some are home runs, some are in between. And if you realize that, you're never going to worry about the ones that are duds, and you're going to celebrate the ones that are home runs, and you're going to make it through the year, and it still should be a ROI positive event. But more so than the ROI positive event is that you have to be somebody that is marketing continuously to all the leads that you acquire at the fairs and the shows. And what we end up seeing all the time is I'll have a customer that was like, you guys, you won't believe it. I just made the biggest sale I've ever made. It was $22,000. And everyone will be like, how'd you do it? Where'd you find the person? They were on my email list. They came to an art fair 4 years ago. Because that person was marketing all year long, somebody came by that booth that liked what they had, but wasn't ready to buy a big piece. 4 years later, they were ready to buy a big piece. And the reason that that person got the sale is because they were marketing to that person consistently over the 4 years. So when you realize the show and fair circuit has those types of abilities, it gives you the ability to truly get the ROI out of them. But I agree, just going to one-off ones here or there tomorrow when you're on your feet all day long and you make $200 and then you have to load the car back up, that can be deflating. That can be infuriating. Trust me, I know. And I know a lot of that other stuff probably you're like, what is all that technology nonsense that he's mentioned? But in my experience, that's truly how you get the revenue out of them. But I'll unmute you tomorrow if you want to ask a follow-up. Yep, I can hear you. I thought I could hear you. I thought I heard your mic click over, but maybe not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're typing it out. Yes. Trust me. I know it's exhausting. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the live art show too, because, you can do it without leaving the comfort of your house, and you can do as many of them as you want. And there's no booth fees at all. There's no driving anywhere at all, which is great. Right. So that's what I would say. But what else, guys? Any other questions? Walter's on the phone. So Tristan, now I have to pick on you. Tristan, questions? Oh, I think she got one. I'm going to unmute you, Tristan. If you do really have a question, you can. You have to hit the mic icon in the bottom left-hand corner. I'll let you know when you get it. It's just like a little microphone icon. Yep, gotcha.
I only do art. I don't do technology.
Yeah.
My question is I've always just sold originals, but I had a friend who wanted a print. My pieces, so I just got it done. It actually looks great. So amazing. I'm thinking about doing the print market somewhat.
Yes, you shouldn't be thinking about it somewhat. You 100% have to do it.
Oh, like.
And I can articulate the whys if you like.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you a graphic here on a map for a second, but what I want to show you in the short term is everyone's followers, fans, emails, whatever attention you have, all of those people, no matter who you are, whether it's your list or my list, your followers, my followers, they inevitably distribute on a socioeconomic bell curve, okay? You have the lower income folks on the socioeconomic scale. You have lower middle class, upper middle class, and the high net worth individuals, right? It's just a bell curve, and that's just the way that it works. And likely with your originals, you only had price points for the higher end of the scale, and you don't have price points for the lower end of the scale. Now, when you approach this business with the proper perspective, what you realize is that you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, number one, okay? That's a long time. That's a great many years of selling art. Sorry, it's getting hot in here. I'm taking this jacket off. That's number one. Number two, the socioeconomic bell curve is not a fixed feature. There's somebody that's living in their mother's basement right now that couldn't afford to buy a postcard from you, but guess what? They love what you're doing. And 7 years from now, they might be ready to buy something, right? So one of the things that we do is that we put together a business plan of sorts for our customers. And I'm going to show you the nuts and the bolts of it. It's basically like a little plan to follow when you get started. Like, is your website live? No, get the website live. Does your website meet best practices? No, get it done. You need price points under $100. You need price points from $100 to $1,000. You need price points above $1,000, okay? You need to have a combination of open editions, prints, limited editions, prints that are limited to a certain thing, and originals, which you already have done. I believe you need to activate merchandise as well, okay? A lot of people poo-poo merchandise, to which I reply, let me know the last museum you've been into that doesn't have a gift shop. Which one? Can anyone name one that doesn't have a gift shop? You can't. They all have gift shops because guess what? They understand that they need to keep the lights on at the museum, right? And the merchandise offers a bunch of ways for people to buy things that they appreciate, okay, and love. And the other thing, Tristan, is that it takes an advertiser to explain this to somebody. When you sell on the low end, let's say it's a coffee mug or a calendar or a small print that goes in the bathroom or any of those lower ticket items, it's essentially like you getting a Facebook ad that you get a staple onto their wall, right? Or put into their kitchen cabinet. And you're not going to make a tremendous amount of money on it, okay? Especially on those low ticket items. But what it's going to do is it's going to place your brand top of mind in that person's head every day of their life that they're home for the next, I don't know how many years, right? And where you miss with just originals is thinking like everyone's ready to buy or can't afford to buy an original right now. It's just not the case. Like if we surveyed 100 people that were in your audience, there's probably only 2 that have their hand up right now that need an original, maybe even just 1. And that will change throughout time, which is why you need to be marketing consistently. But when you open yourself up to these cheaper price points, one, you're giving yourself the ability to get in on those people that are on the lower end of the socioeconomic scale or are just not ready to purchase an original, and then it keeps you top of mind. But then also, too, there's some people that just want to buy prints. They don't want to buy originals. There's some certain people that just want to buy limited editions. And, you know, what I showed on here, this is just a mathematical formula that works, okay? It's just a mathematical formula that works. Some people want open editions. Some people want limited editions. Some people want originals. Having those 3 levels and tiers of price points, all it is it like it just turns you into a cactus, right? And what do I mean by a cactus? A cactus has evolved to survive in these hostile environments and literally capture every single solitary bit of moisture that comes into the air and store it, right? So you want to be like that too. The moisture is the ROI that you would get from your marketing activities, right? And if you go out and you do these marketing activities and your original started at $1,000 and you brought in 65 people that would have bought something under $100 or 25 people that would have bought something under $500, they're gone now. They're gone. And the chances of you getting them back just the way that the world works today is very, very small. And so you keep missing out on all those sales. And not only are you missing out on those sales, they compound year after year after year, right? And you know, like every imaginable iteration abounds. You know, we get people that are constantly thinking they're smarter than their customers. There are 5 major media types. I believe an artist should offer all 5. Wood, metal, acrylic, canvas, a fine art paper. You have the 5, you've got everything on offer, and you would be surprised. People like all 5. They're different strokes for different folks. Limited editions. Some people only want to buy the ones that are signed, hand signed by the artist. Some people could care less. They're just looking for the cheaper price or put the digital signature on there. I don't care, right? And, you know, all these people that I talk to insist upon one thing or another, and what they don't understand is that these are just mathematical formulas on how a business works. This is all the stuff they should have taught you in art school, but they never did. This is how you actually operate an art business that works, right? The gallerists know this. They know this, which is why they can exploit the hell out of artists and take 50% of their revenue, not tell them who's buying their work. So these are just like the simple steps that you need to take and start working on and start bolting into your business, and you will find out immediately how rewarding it is because it works. It's like, this is not anything new. It's been going on for generations and centuries, right? Like another one that I like to talk about all the time. I hate the terminology on this. I don't know who invented the terminology on this, but if I find out who did, I'm going to show up at their house and have words. You need to turn on what are called order bumps and one-click upsells, right? Order bumps and one-click upsells, whatever does he mean, that fancy terminology. I come to your website. I put an item in the shopping cart. I'm about to check out. Before I put in my credit card details, a little box pops up and says, hey, Patrick, do you want to add a calendar to your order for an additional $40? They're 10% off today. And I either can say yes or no, and then I can check out. Then after I complete the transaction, what happens in an e-commerce context is you get redirected to a confirmation page. Thanks for your order, Patrick. I can't wait to ship it to you. By the way, do you also want to add a set of coasters to your order. They look great in the bar, or you can insert whatever the products are. And what these do when you turn them on automatically is the easiest time to get a sale is when the credit card is out already, right? And I bring up that entire scenario, and everybody's like, "Ooh, that sounds amazing. That technology, I didn't even know that exists." And then when I tell you this next bit, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so true." When's the last time you were at the supermarket or the hardware store or the electronics store? And as we're being snaked through the lines to go up to the cash register, what is there? Duct tape is on sale, and cell phone charger cables, and magazines, and water, and cookie and candies, and a whole bunch of crap you didn't even realize you need, and you end up buying. All that is the digital, what I'm talking about, these one-click upsells, and it's the digital version of that, right? Like, you're in the supermarket, you weren't going to buy that pack of gum or the magazine or the water or whatever else, and then you're like, I'm waiting. Actually, okay, I'll take it. And so what that does over time is it increases your AOV, your average order value, and spread over a whole bunch of transactions throughout the year. A bunch of people opt into that, and then the business starts growing. So, I know you guys were never taught any of this. They don't teach any of it. It's why we exist. Like, we're moving closer and closer to being like a university, honestly. And it's sort of infuriating. It's why the term starving artist is real. Straight up. Right? Because no one's taught you about these various different business things that are so important to have. And, you need to stack the deck in your favor as much as possible. And these are the things that get it done.
Yeah, well, I did a different career. So
yeah.
Although I actually did well as a portrait painter. So, but now I'm just trying to go full force. I'm old, so I have the time to sit and paint.
You're just getting started. You're not old yet.
I'm old. But it's now I have the time to really focus on art and not worry about starving. So
yes, which is an ideal way to do it. Which I felt terrible giving that advice earlier. But
no, you're right. I've had to have a job for many years because you can't rely on art to support you.
Yeah, no, you can't, especially not early on. Like, there's so many that like say they want to be an artist, right? And because it's what a wonderful career to contemplate, right? Like, creating these things that you love, leveraging your talent, but it's not easy. It's not easy early on. And I would say, like, you could argue music is on the same vein. You could argue writing is on the same vein. You could argue script writing is on the same vein. Like, why do actors and actresses always wait tables, right? Like, it's really hard to break into, and you really have to be, driven and grind at it to get there. But anyway, enough of the ranting.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
And I went to art school in 1972. So, and they don't want to really create artists. They are afraid of competition. So I did study with some really famous artists that made the difference, but a lot of studying, a lot of hard work, a lot of painting.
A lot of art history, no business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No business. I mean, even if they just like, where was the class back then that taught that Picasso line, right? Like, how could a guy like that, where at the tail end of his career, he could have sold every single solitary one of those pieces? How did he have 45,000 unsold works, right? Like, people hear that number and it's just daunting to even contemplate. Like, how many people are cranking out that much? And I think, if that guy could have come back and just said, not everything I did was a home run. I kept trying things until I got there. Like, you guys have the permission to go do that too. It's like an amazing thing to contemplate. But anyway,
you don't do all home runs. I don't think any artist does.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not in any capacity. But we could definitely help you if you want to give the business a serious go. You kind of have to make that call, right?
I'll think about it. Definitely. The whole thing with the print just has opened my eyes up. That looks great. And I can do it larger too.
You can do you instantaneously, and you go from having one product to having like 30. Right?
Yeah,
because not only is it the different media types, but it's all the various different sizes. And then not only that, like, one of the greatest advancements in this industry is how seamless POD, print on demand, has become. And the way that it works is you get an order, you get paid immediately, the printer gets paid, the printer prints it, wraps it all up, puts it in the box, slaps your logo on the box, ships it off to the customer. You touch nothing. Nothing.
Oh, that's cool. So are you doing that?
Yes. We do that for both the merchandise and for the prints. And it's great. I mean, you don't have to do any admin. You don't have to ship anything. You don't even have to send a single solitary email unless you want to. And, you know, it just gives you all that time back to stay working on your creations and stay grinding on you know, on the business as a whole. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, changed my mind about a lot of things.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's what this session is for. So, I'm glad you stepped up and asked the question. I appreciate you.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your help.
Yeah. Thank you, Tristan. Okay, James, you're up next. Go, James.
Hey, Patrick. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Excellent. It's after 5 o'clock, so I'm off the clock now, so I can use the microphone.
There we go. There we go.
I'm at the very beginning stages.
Mhm.
The website, no following for the stuff that I'm trying to put out now.
Yep.
So for the past month, I've been putting up, you know, some pieces. I've been doing a lot of stuff digitally just for the quick, you know, minimum viable product,
Mhm.
you know, just to get stuff out there just so people can see it and see what people
Mhm.
gravitate to. In 1 week, I got someone asking for a commission and someone asking if a specific piece was for sale.
Boom. Boom.
So that was fun.
Buying questions.
I like that.
Buying questions.
The commission is, you know, we're in talks. We're starting to move forward with that.
Mhm.
The sale for the other piece, I had no idea how to price anything. So I gave him a number, $250. You know, it was an ink piece on a sketch pad paper, you know, 11 by 14. Wasn't anything crazy. He couldn't afford that, so I asked him what's he willing to offer. He said $75, but he's willing to wait for a website to buy some prints at this point.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, like, how hard should I like try to push for the sale, just to get a sale, to get something moving?
You did pretty much absolutely everything right except the $75.
Okay.
Like that's exactly how I would have played it. I would have said, I normally sell something like this for $250, and then and I should say too, this is the mental model. Wow, that piece is fantastic. You are so talented. That's amazing. Thank you so much for putting this out. This is so beautiful. Wonderful, so and so. Just to let you know, it's for sale for $250, and then shut up. Wait for a response. When they say that's a little bit too expensive, say, no worries, make me an offer then, and see what they come back with. If they don't come back with anything,
75.
Yeah, if they don't come back with anything, they're just stroking your ego, right? And they're being nice people, and it's not real. When that guy came at 75, you should have said, "Sold. Let me ship it to you."
Okay.
And let me quote the Pablo Picasso early on. I mean, again, and he was being interviewed by like an up and coming sketch artist, and this guy was asking Pablo for advice, and Pablo was like, "Early on, my drawings did not command big prices, but they all moved. Your art must go out into the world." I love that line, but you know, just move it and go on. Like your job is to keep learning, to keep taking those licks. But the fact that you did all that blows my mind. You're way ahead of the curve already.
Cool. Thank you. Okay.
Was there another
next
question?
Time, make the sale.
Yes.
Right.
Make the sale.
I do have another semi-technical question.
Yeah.
When it comes to like PayPal and Venmo, like I know there's business versions of, I think, PayPal.
Don't even stress about any of that. You don't need any of that. In the short term, just take PayPal and Venmo until you get enough sales volume. Once you get enough sales volume, come sign up with us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, early on, James, just as a final, like anything that is not creating the work or trying to sell the work is a distraction. It's a distraction. Well, don't I need a logo? No. Don't I need a website? No. Don't I need a business license? No. You don't need any of those things, okay? There's only one thing that's difficult to do, aside from the creation process, okay? But you guys already have that wired, is the selling process. If you could sell it, all of those other things are so easy to sort. The sheer amount of people that I hear that like, well, I just got to get a business plan together, or I got to know what the tax rules are in my state, or know what my niche is going to be, or figure out and work out the international shipping costs because I'm going to sell so much stuff in Europe. Have you sold anything yet? No. Then what are you doing? You're just celebrating being busy. You're not working on anything that's going to move the business forward. work on attempting to sell the art and worry about everything else after the fact. And what you find is everything else after the fact is pretty easy. Pretty easy to sort. So, all right. Any final questions, guys? On a Friday? No? All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there. I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful weekend. I will be sending you the replay in short order. Again, there's a ton of really cool links in here. I'm also going to throw in, you guys should really listen. Do we still have the podcast in there, April? We should probably put that thing back in there. The Freakonomics guys did a 3-part. Freakonomics is this book. Maybe you've read it, maybe you haven't. It doesn't matter. They have a podcast. It's really good. They did this podcast on the fine art market. It's a 3-part series. It's super entertaining. I mean, they spend like a lot of money on these episodes. I totally think you should do that. I also in here have a really cool how to run live art show quick guide for you guys. You don't have to do anything. You can just read it. There's no email opt-in. There's no pop-ups. There's no nonsense. Let me make sure. Okay, thank God there's no pop-ups. Real stories of real folks doing it, samples of their shows, and then you get down to the very bottom. These are all the reasons why you would want to run a live art show. You can go download the guide and click this button. And I literally made like the easiest, fastest, quickest way to do this. The equipment you need, by the way, you all have it. It's this. Inventory and pricing, how to get paid. Not a business PayPal, James. Not a business Venmo. PayPal, cash check, Venmo, right? Where you could potentially stream the show. How to announce the show, what to do after the fact, plus some bonus content in there. So something to check out. I will send all of that to you directly after this is over. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Hope to see you all on the inside or on a future session. And have great weekends all. Bye now.